Hey everyone, it is Natalie from Being Intentionally Creative. Today we are going to work with one of the new molds I got from Temu. I had mentioned in a previous video that I bought this mold because it just looked so cool. I love this mold. I love the designs I'm getting out of it. Yes, I've already used it and I've already made some pieces. All the pieces I've made so far have been using the resin mixed mold. And I'm loving this mold, and I bought it because it was unique and unusual. It hasn't disappointed. I've got some ideas that I want to play around with as a result of having this mold. When we get to the end, not only will you get to see this piece that we're making today, but I'll also show you a couple of the other pieces that I've already made with it. A couple of things I just want to mention to you in case you decide to get this mold. Again, I got it off of Temu, if I haven't mentioned that already. This mold is very, it's not flimsy. I don't want to give you that impression, but I would highly recommend that if you get this mold that you put it inside of something in the unlikely event that it does decide to tip. The very first one I had done, I was able to just leave the mold in here, in this pot, like I've put it in a container. Every time I've made this, I've had it in the container. It is sort of, because it's plastic and silicone, the silicone mold is sticking to the bottom of it. But again, this is a bit, I think maybe if it had support on the other side, one of these walls, if you want to call it that, it would be better, would have more support. What I've ended up doing is taking one of my bottles here, just putting it in the back because it seems to be going that way towards the back. So let me move so I have enough room in here to put that. This is just adding a little bit of extra support, and then I've also been putting this in behind it, sort of like, well, it's not going to work right now because there's nothing in the mold, but it's giving it support to keep everything sort of in check so I don't have any accidents. I'm going to recommend that. Put this in something because you do not want this ending up all over the place, because we know how fast this stuff cures and you just don't want that kind of mess. And this container here is just something I got from the local grocery store. I think there'd been, this covered a cake, if I'm not mistaken. Put this in something. Now, the other thing I had thought, I've gotten something that allows me to make a square box to put my silicone molds in to keep them from being distorted. And it might work for this, but for the sake of this video, we're just going to use this lid here. Okay, a couple of things to know about this. So you know that you're going to want to put this in something to support it, and we'll come back. When we take this out, you're not really going to see me take it out because I have to hold it against my body. It is a challenge to get the pieces out of this mold. It is with the mixed mold. I don't know whether it would be the same or as challenging with resin. Resin might give a little bit more. The other thing I want you to pay attention to with this mold is there's a piece in the center here, and you know what, I'll fold it down so you can actually see that. And I'd love to put mica powder on this, but I'm never going to get into that. So this piece here is a piece that goes down. So once we take it out of the mold, this is the elongated piece that's inside the mold where you can put your flowers, the stems of your flowers. So this is in the center. And what I've had happen when I've been doing this is I'm getting air trapped. So where's the front of my face? So this is the front. So I'm getting air trapped, and in the neck area here, what's happening is there's air bubbles getting trapped. Because it's in the bowl, I can't sort of knock this around well enough to, release air bubbles. Someone has suggested using a electric toothbrush to hit against this to give it some vibration to loosen up those air bubbles. I don't have one here with me right now. What I'm going to do is I am going to use the butt of this long neck lighter to sort of tap it. The other thing I've been doing, which probably isn't helping either, because of my incidences with this stuff curing too fast, when I'm using it, I may be pouring it in too fast as well. Today I'm going to try and do it a little slower. and not get the air bubbles trapped in that. And I'm going to see if I can't, very carefully while holding it, is to like knock it to try and get some of those air bubbles out. I'm not really concerned about them. It's interesting. I'm finding that the sort of small imperfections that I'm getting are actually attracting me to the piece more, which seems unusual. I had thought maybe the mold had an issue, but it's not the mold. It's air getting trapped in it. Something to be aware of. I can sand it down. It's not going to be a big deal. I can fix it up. Just letting you know, if you get it, these are some of the things you may find. What colors are we going to use? That's interesting. I came up with sort of an interesting way of getting a marbling effect, which I'm really kind of, it's nothing really too net new. Net new, that's not a thing. It's not too new. Net new is not correct terminology. What we're going to do is we're going to see how well I can get this to marble. I'm using the mixed mold, and I'm also just going to be using the black pigment. What I'm going to end up doing is, and some of this I'm going to sort of do off camera, I'm going to mix it up off camera. Basically what I will do, and this takes approximately 480 mils of mixed mold with plus the water added, which is 160. So make sure you, I would do 480, and then if you have any left over, just have another mold, and I have one to the side that I'll use if I need it. Okay, I'm going to mix this up all at once. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to take half of this and I'm going to pour it into another container. What I have found has been working for me, and you know, if you want to try it to see how well it works for you, is instead of mixing the color into the whole, because it's so white, we know that it takes a black and would make it gray. I'm just putting drops in it, and then I'm pouring it into the mold, and I'm finding that that is giving me some nice marbling, and it's allowing the piece to become darker as it dries out. I'll show you one of the pieces that I've gotten so stuck on the orange and yellows and whatnot, so I'm working my way away from those. What I'm going to do is I'm going to step away now. I'm going to mix up my mixed mold. I'm going to get it poured into the two containers. And then we're going to come back and I'm going to show you what I do with this to help me create the marbling effect. We're going to get this set up in order to pour it. Stay tuned and I'll be right back. Okay, I have got this mixed now, and I've got it put into two different containers. Okay, I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do with one of them because I want to get this back in place. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to put some drops in. I'm not mixing this up whatsoever. I'm just putting it in, and I'm going to do that in both of them. If I had different colors, I would do that with them, but I've only got the two. So let me move this back because I want to be able to hold it from the other side, and I'm just going to stand up and I'm going to pour some from one and then from the other into my mold. And I'm actually going to go down around the sides this time to see if that makes a difference. Okay, and then I'm going to take the other from the other bowl. Now, if these were two different colors, this would work out well, but I want to do a black and white. I want to see how this is going to look. Okay, I'm going to take the butt of this and I'm going to knock it and see if I can't, especially around that neck, maybe getting a little vicious with it. That's all I'm going to do. And then we're going to continue to pour. I just found this was kind of an interesting way of doing this, and it's been giving me some neat designs, like the way it's sort of marbling and the coloring and whatnot. So that's why I'm doing it. Now I'm going to have to start to hold this, and that's sort of why I'm standing up and I'm holding things so I have some control over what I'm up to. And it is, you know, the black is, I could put some more black in here if I wanted to, but for ease of, we're not going to. And like I said, I just put drops in. I've got I didn't get all of that off the bottom of it either in that one. So what are you crazy creative people up to today? Hope you're getting into something fun. Yeah, I'm going to have some left over. So do be between 475 and 480 for this. And like me, I always have an extra mold sitting around. Yeah, you'll notice it's sort of it's very flimsy, but it's a beautiful mold. Yeah, well, for me, I'm just loving this mold. So let me reach very carefully over, and I've got just an ornament. So yeah, how talented can I get doing this? It's too funny. Hold this, pour this, and try not to lose concentration on anything, right? See how my ornament's not going to have much design to it, just because the black's pretty much out of this. Just knock my ornament down. The stuff's starting to set up now, and I didn't stir this up well enough. I've got a little bit left in the bottom of that. I don't know if you can see, because I can't see right now because I am standing up. So I'm going to try to let that go. So you'll see how it's not strong enough to hold itself up. So we're going to do that. And I have to move this forward a bit, aren't I? So yeah, just be really delicate and careful when working with this. If you're not comfortable with this, then I would recommend maybe not getting it. So I need something else behind there to hold it. Once it starts to set, you're laughing, but it's just getting it to that point. All right, so we're being very gentle. We're not going to bang into our table at all. You can hopefully see that well enough. I'm hoping, because I seriously am not moving this now. What we're going to do is we're just going to let this sit. Obviously, we're going to let it set up. Hopefully, I banged around the neck enough. But again, if I didn't and we have some issues with the neck, we know we can fix that by either wet sanding it or dry sanding it. The pieces that I haven't actually sanded them yet, and I could wet sand them, or I could just sand them down and just sort of be very careful doing it. And I would use a very, I want to say a mild piece of sandpaper, but a fine grit sandpaper. So we're going to leave this. I have been leaving this for approximately 1.5 to 2 hours, only because, granted, the neck is fairly thick on this, but again, it's one of those molds that I don't want to take this out too soon and have it break. I would rather leave it in longer and not have issues with it than try and take it out and it break. With that being said, I am going to leave for now. We will come back once this is ready to take out. We'll get this out of the mold, see how it looks, and I will show you 2 of the others that I've already done. See you in a bit. It has been a couple of hours. I am ready to take this piece out of the mold. As I said, because of the depth of this and it being, I want to say as thick as it is, I wanted to give this more than an hour to set, because I don't want it to break. I'd hate to do a piece like this and have it break. Anyway, I'm going to show you part of taking it out of the mold, because I can fold part of it down for you to see. And they go, sure you can. You ever find that with a mold? You just got to get it going. All right, so here we go. Yeah, usually I have it up against my body. And you know what else I'm going to do? I am going to put my gloves on, my pretty pink gloves, to take this out, because I don't really want to get any marks on it from my fingers, which is neither here nor there for some people, but I don't know why. With this piece, it's like, put your gloves on, Natalie. Okay. So it's interesting. I'm seeing some striations, and I hadn't noticed them on my other pieces before. But we'll get this down as far as we can. All right. Now I'm going to have to pull away from the camera because, as I say, it's an interesting piece, and it takes a little bit to get it off over the head. I'll try and keep it in camera as best as I can for you. But, okay. Sorry about having to take it away from you. Today it's proving more challenging than I'd like it to. Normally I'd have it out by now. It's just because I'm doing this on camera. And it's just being a challenge. Okay, there we go. There we go. She's coming out. All right. There you have it in all its glory. That off to the side. Get a bit of a sweat going on with doing this piece. So here we go. Now I do have a striation here, and I'm gonna put that down too. And I want to just give me a second. I will I will pick it back up. Just want to get my other glasses on so I can get a better look at. So we have the mark here. Okay. And I have a little bit of a divot down here. But let's just sort of roll it around. I haven't really taken a close look at these. I have a bit of a marking there. And yeah, it almost looks like I've got some striations. So I think what I'm going to end up doing with this one is I will smooth it out a bit. But it's kind of interesting because I hadn't noticed the ridging that's occurring with this mold and the other pieces I've done. And we'll have a look at them in a moment. But I'll stop getting really close up to it so you can just see. But I like this top part of the body gave me more of a design than sort of the head area. And this will darken. I know this will darken up. It has with the other ones I've done. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm noticing more marks on this one than I have on the other ones. Anyway, that's okay. I still think it's a beautiful piece. And then here is the inside of it. And it goes down, it's probably goes, well, it doesn't go down 6 inches because this is only about 5.5 inches tall. So what would we say? Maybe 3 inches from the top of this down, and it comes down into the neck. That's where it is. But I do like how this looks. This looks really pretty. And that was simply by mixing up my mixed mold, splitting it into 2 separate containers, and then putting drops. And I don't know how many drops I put in either. 6 anyway, if not maybe 7 or 8. And then I just poured it in. And that's how I'm getting my marbling effect, or what I would call my marbling effect, which, you know, we have a little bit of, it's coming out better, I'm finding, than when I mix a color into the ceramic resin. I'm getting more of a design this way. So let me show you the other pieces I've done. We'll put that one off to the side. I will get a picture of this as it looks now, and then I will also post on my Facebook page. Probably in the next 6 hours, I'll post a now picture and a 6 hour later picture, because with the other ones, they definitely have gotten darker. Now that may also be with the fact that I've used different pigment in. This is one that I did about a week ago, and I was getting very much into my orange phase, which I decided I needed to get out of. But again, and I'm trying to think, I think I may be mixed one color in with the mixed mold and then put drops in, but I hadn't really fine detailed just mixing it up and putting the drops in it like I have with this piece. So I'll just put you back there. This is one of the pieces I did, mixed it white, and then I put blue in one and purple. Well, it wasn't purple, and I can't remember it, but it was a stamping ink that I used for this one. And I absolutely love how this piece has come out. Now it's got marks over here. So it's not the, to me, it's not the mold. It's, for whatever reason, how I'm pouring it is causing some issues. And I just want to, take, because it's interesting how that black one has this, you know, I can see ridging on it. And maybe it's because of the coloring of it, but oh, this one has it too. So it must be something about the mold. It's harder to see on this one, and probably because of the coloring in it. But I'm loving how these guys are turning out. I love the mold. Absolutely love the mold. I like that I'm learning how to get some design on my pieces where I'm using the mix to mold. That's really cool for me. And I think once I have these with their sealer on them, they're going to be really neat. So what am I going to do with these? Well, one of the options is, obviously, this is meant to hold plants or flowers or what have you. That's the point of the neck being open, so you can put something inside of that. And here is an example. We'll just put that in it. And can you see? So you could put, well, not much, because the hole down in the neck isn't overly big. So we could do that. We could put, you know, maybe some paintbrushes in this. Something like that. You could maybe put some pens in it, but again, you wouldn't get a lot in there. One of the ideas I have for this is to create a ring box in the top of this. I haven't decided or figured out how I'm going to do that yet to get something set inside of this, so you could put a ring in it, because I think that would look absolutely gorgeous. I also like the idea of having it so you could have a small, when I say small necklace, I mean a necklace that doesn't have a piece that's very big, that would actually just hang down through the center of this. I want to figure out a way of putting something in the back to hold it in place. And again, I haven't quite decided, but I thought it would make for a nice keepsake for that piece of jewelry, or those pieces of jewelry that mean a lot to you. And you could have it sitting in your bathroom, you could have it sitting in your bedroom, on your table top, wherever, or your dresser. I think this piece could absolutely just sit on a table somewhere and, you know, not be used for anything other than an art piece. Because it's, for me, it's just, oh, it's such a beautiful piece. I can't get over that. You could fill this up with beads of some sort. You could, I'm thinking you could stuff the bottom. So a friend of mine wondered about putting earrings in this, and I thought, well, you're going to end up down inside. But having said that, you could fill it up to a certain point with resincrete. You could put resin in here just to get to a point where pieces aren't falling right down into the center of it. And that's where we stand. I have made 4 of these so far, and I'm loving every one of them, because I think they're so unique. It's so different. I haven't seen a lot of people making this, but I just, yeah. And I don't mind the imperfections on it. I might sand them down a little bit, and then again, I might not. It all, you know, sort of depends on my mood. This one, I'll take a picture of it now, and I will, once I get the opportunity to take another picture of it. It may not change a lot because of the black, but black may come out some more. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, I wanted to show that to you. Oh, I guess we should take this out of the mold and see how this looks, since I did have some left over. So let's get this out. This shouldn't break. I'm always very, very careful with pieces like this because I don't want them to break. Okay. So we don't have much of a design on this, but this may get darker. Now that it's out of the mold, it's got a place. So we'll see how this darkens up. But it's really cool to me how quickly, like within about an hour, this one was gone from a pale color to starting to darken up. It's just so cool. So cool. Anyway, I hope you're having a great day, whatever you're getting up to. I thought I would share this with you in my new way of sort of working to get that marbling effect with the mix to mold. Whatever you're doing, I hope it's creative. I hope you're having fun. I hope you're playing. and just enjoying your creative whatever you are getting up to. Have a great day. Take care. Bye for now.